On the budget, remember tomorrow is budget day and you've got to watch all the developments right here. But let's get you our breaking news. This year's budget presentation is going to be very different, very unique among all the budgets which have come in the last 75 years. Earlier budget speeches typically had a lot of detail in Part A, while Part B consisted of a few announcements. However, this time it's going to be different. Let's go across to Himanshu for more on this to understand what the difference is going to be. Himanshu, take us through why this year's budget is going to be very unique and what exactly is going to be different.
Well, this is largely because in the Part B, that is the second part of her budget statement, FM is expected to outline the short-term and long-term goals that government has set. Remember, when Prime Minister Modi had a long interaction with economists and sectoral experts, he had said that this has become very important today to actually align the entire budgeting process with that larger goal of a Viksit Bharat. To attain that larger goal to make India a developed nation, what is the government's plan in the short term, what are the goals that government has identified, and what are the long-term goals, the measures that are needed to attain that larger objective of making India a developed nation. So this is part of that larger endeavor to present a roadmap, both in terms of short-term goals and long-term goals in the Part B of her statement. Sources have also told us that this Part B of the budget speech will showcase India's local strengths on the global stage. Remember, for last few years, India has been world's largest, fastest growing economy, and this time also the economic survey has said that the growth rate is expected to be 7.4%. So the strength of the Indian economy, the fact that India and the government now is planning to launch a major endeavor, a major initiative to make India a Viksit Bharat by 2047. To attain this larger objective, our short-term and long-term goals that government has identified will be very clearly outlined by FM in her budget speech. Now, Part B of the budget speech is also likely to draw significant attention from economists and experts who have been waiting for a more categorical assertion, a far more written assurances from the government in terms of what are these larger and short-term goals that government has identified. So from that perspective, I think FM's budget speech will not only outline the budgetary proposals for the next year, during which the growth is expected to be around 6.8 to 7.2%, but also will outline the short-term goals and the long-term goals that government has identified. And this is part of that larger endeavor to make India a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Kagi.
Right, Himanshu. So when you say, Part B of the budget speech will draw significant attention from economists and experts in India and around the world, are we expecting, some in terms of reform and in terms of attracting foreign investment, some big announcements?
That's right, because remember all these FTAs that India has signed. India, in fact, has signed 8 FTAs, and 2 of the FTAs, one with EFTA and one with New Zealand, of course, has a provision that EFTA countries and New Zealand will be making billions of dollars of new investment in the Indian economy. So that is why these sources have told us that the world, of course, would be keenly watching Part B of her statement because that will outline exactly the kind of new opportunities, the next wave of economic reforms, as it is being called, that she is likely to outline in her budget speech will, of course, is something that the world is waiting for. And remember, after the India-EU FTA, which constitutes and represents 25% of the global GDP and is likely to affect 1/3 of the global trade, is something that, of course, has attracted lots of global attention towards the strengths of the Indian economy. The reason why a $10 billion market in European Union has been opened up for Indian exports. So clearly these are new developments, new opportunities, and government, of course, is aware that if Indian exporters and Indian business houses want to capitalize on this huge market that is now opening up for Indian business, for India's external interest, then it will be very important to see what government actually is planning next to actually take this process of reform forward.
All right, Himanshu, thanks so much for joining us with all those details of how this year's budget is going to be very different from the previous ones.